by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who on Monday ordered the immediate release of minors said to be end bad governance protesters held in prison for over 90 days. Nigerians have reacted. Well, in a briefing, the State House correspondent, to State House correspondents, the Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, said that President Tinubu issued a directive to the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi.
The President has directed that these children, these minors, be released immediately. This is, of course, without prejudice to whatever legal processes there are. Of course, if you look at this issue, there is the legal side of it, but there is also the human angle, the humanitarian side of it. Mr. President has directed that whatever the circumstances are, let the minors be released. The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs has been charged, has been directed by the President to ensure that they have safe return and reunion to their family members.
All right. I mean, I think it's a great development. When I saw the story yesterday, my heart was at rest. I mean, knowing that the President is listening. As much as the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs is going to go, make sure that they are home, I hope that there's also some sort of rehabilitation program that will be set aside for these children. I'll take some reactions. This is from Samuel, who wrote, "Releasing them is good news, and kudos to the lawyers and Nigerians that lamented against the evil perpetrated to the kids. But the question remains, what can the government use to compensate the mental and physical damage done to them? How can they avert the trauma as they grow?" Another Twitter user, Mega Mixer, wrote, "After they have successfully demarketed Nigeria, I guess they have now concluded and realized that protests should not be treason in Nigeria. I repeat, those who purportedly fought for democracy and the rule of law in Nigeria are today fighting the same democracy and the rule of law. They championed protests at a time, but today protests are seen as a weapon fashioned against them. Time is indeed the true test of one's identity and true intentions." Another Twitter user, Dr. Ife Akandu, wrote, "So over 30 minors were detained by the police for months simply because they expressed their right to free speech and to protest against bad government. These harmless minors were charged by officers of this same Tinubu government of attempting to overthrow the government of President Tinubu. These minors were so charged, and neither the President nor the AGF bothered to find out the profile of the people charged with attempting to overthrow a democratic government. It took outcry of Nigerians for the President to get to know the profile of those charged of attempting to overthrow his government. It is indeed a sad day for Nigeria, so heart-wrenching and destabilizing. Then we have the police chiefs saying the malnourished children were acting drama by pretending to taint or faint in open court. There is no better definition for wickedness against citizens." I mean, this gentleman's tweet, Vimbai, I thought was quite apt in terms of profile. But still, I don't think we actually have the profile of these people that, made these children go out to carry out these flags or Russian flags that they now say is a treasonable offense. Do you really think that the identity, I mean, I know that they're going to continue on with the investigation, but the main thing is that it took 90 days for these young children to be kept or held, 97 days, I believe, to be held in prison. And yet, we have no identity or no profile of those that made these children do what they did.
That is, for me, that's the root cause of the core of this issue at the moment. When we look at these children, first of all, we said it earlier here on this program, we hope that when we do see them at Asuvilla, first of all, we hope they are not wearing a shwebi. And
that's what's probably going to happen.
Because the amount of resources that's used to do all of that is something that could be used towards, getting them on their way. The conversation now for these children is around, like you correctly said, rehabilitation and compensation.
Yes.
I know Femi Falana is, leading the advocacy for financial compensation for what these children have been through. And I think that's a very important conversation. What does that look like? And that's what needs to happen. And let's follow that process through to make sure there's accountability. But it still goes back to the fact, and I'm really glad that our guest, Dr. Beatrice Pogu, also dated it back to the 1980s, to the Maitatane riots in Kaduna, and said that this is not the first time that we're seeing children, especially in the north, being sent out to protest, being sent out to, to commit all sorts of acts in the name of politics or in the name of... So it's all very unfortunate, but for me, the big question is still, who hijacked the protest?
That's the point.
Who sent them?
Well, all right. Well, in the meantime, the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Remi Tinubu, and the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, are set to lead a national prayer session aimed at addressing Nigeria's numerous challenges. The event, organized in collaboration with Christian and Muslim leaders, is intended to seek divine intervention as the country faces ongoing crises affecting various sectors, while a cross-section of Nigerians have reacted to the development, including former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who mocked the idea in a post on X, saying that the administration is in a hurry to take over power without a coherent plan. His tweet reads in part, "Like many fellow Nigerians, I firmly believe that we find ourselves in this current economic turmoil due to the Tinubu administration's hasty ascent to power, devoid of a coherent plan. Isn't it fascinating how the so-called tested Tinubu administration's only policy response seems to be a national prayer led by the First Lady and the NSA? Just a mere 24 hours after I propose my alternative solutions. What a bold, in my humble interpretation of the scriptures. Prayer indeed serves as a noble path to follow. However, the scared text also counsel us to engage in diligent labor and hard work. Rufai, this happened. I mean, I believe it was just 2 days ago or 3 days ago when Atiku Abubakar, proposed some policies and Bayo Ononuga attacked him. I don't know if you saw that tweet where Bayo Ononuga attacked him, but of course reactions have trailed this national prayer. Let me take this tweet from Badebo Rose Viver. He wrote, "Israel is at war, deploying an iron dome. Not the Lion of Judah. Saudi and UAE are creating new economic realities for their people. And there is Nigeria seeking national prayers, not because they believe in it, but because they want to hoodwink the people. What Nigeria needs is a change of leadership from those who pursue their narrow interests to those who are competent, have character, compassion, and an ambitious vision for their people." It is possible, Rufi.
And you see, that's why for all the people that were going after Peter Obi, the truth is that man has said the truth. This is exactly the mindset we have. Was it not on this table we heard the other day that some people wanted to go and pray against bandits, military officers, if my memory serves me right? We have become a nation of jokes. See, I didn't see any big display in Saudi. I saw a country, only religious, I saw a country that was intentional about its success and growth. Oji, 500 real notes. They wrote their vision 2030 on it. You know what the Bible says? Make your vision plain. This administration does not have a plain vision. Prayer will not solve everything. See, if you want to move a mountain, it's not by saying, "Hey, God, move it. No. God has given you the brain to think of the things that will help you move a mountain. Bible was talking about Israel having the Iron Dome shield. It's technology. Like Fela would say, technology. If you don't put things in place, and the solution to Nigeria's problem is clear leadership and thinking. President Tinubu has not laid down an economic road plan to bring Nigeria out of this quagmire. He keeps saying, oh, things are going to get better. Now that one we go shop. A man that says, "Shana statistics we go shop." He start telling you to pray your way out of economic problem. So we are not ready. See, Saudi was intentional about pivoting. Saudi started going against some of their hitherto religious conventions. We're talking about WTA. Women going to play WTA in scanty attires. Because Saudi wants to attract a lot of investment. As I got into Saudi Oji, I saw an Eminem show be advertised. That's an Islamic country. But an Eminem show with audio mark and some other American artists was advertised.
All right.
So we are not ready.
All right.
And please, President Tinubu, take feedback.
All right.
It's
Well, I want
prayer.
Dr. Abat's comment on this prayer. I don't know how it is
very
that
briefly.
the NSA too is involved in the
Very briefly.
national.
Now, in other countries, they have national prayer breakfast meetings. They have it in the US every Thursday, every first Thursday of February. It was started by members of Congress and what they call the National Prayer Breakfast Association. And in some parts of the US, states also have National Prayer Breakfast Days. In other words, since Dwight Eisenhower, every American president has attended that. But it's a private thing, organized privately. They have it also in Australia by members of parliament. They have it also in the UK by members of the UK parliament. They just pray for the country. And I think that, look, yes, the point that Waziri Adamawa Atiku Abubakar was making is that, yes, there is something to be said for prayers. But prayers should not become substitute for hard work. The question to ask is, First Lady and National Security Advisor, who is organizing this national prayer? I hope it's not a government project that will be budgeted for. And everybody will be following. It will become a Tinubu administration project. That's not how they do it in other parts of the world. Right. There must be a distinction between private issues and public issue. And Nigeria says in Section 10 that this is a secular state. There shall be no official religion. So those who want to pray can pray. But let them not bring it into government. And no penny of the Nigerian government, whether it's security vote or not, must be spent. No, in fact, the prayer must not take place inside government premises. They should look for a neutral place. But you cannot stop them from praying. After all, there's freedom of religion, freedom of thought in this country. And prayers will not address monetary policy. Prayers will not bring down fuel price.
Absolutely not.
Prayers will not stop the Ebim power phenomenon into which we are all trapped.
Well said. Only yesterday we took Peter Obi's story where he said he's going to make night vigils or turn them into night shifts for productivity. And I think that is a key point as well. Well said.